early morning, let us consider wall gazing and then meditate. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a question about Buddhist meditation or philosophy and how they could apply to your specific circumstances, do not be bashful. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. My sinuses are dancing the Watusi, so if I'm acting a bit tipsy or stoned, that's why. In Chant and Zen literature, we read of the fabled monk Bodhidharma, who is said to have been responsible directly or indirectly for the popularization of Mahamudra meditation in China and then Japan. It is said, we read in the texts attributed to him that he endorsed wall-gazing meditation. That is not in dispute. The question is this: was he speaking literally or figuratively? Many practitioners of Chan and Zen assume he was speaking literally, and they literally face the wall. Mazel tov. But what if he was speaking figuratively? What could he have been getting at? Well, consider, if you will, a cube. It's comprised of 6 panels or 6 walls. And that cube can make a rather tidy prison cell. What are some of the ways we make a prison cell of our own mind? Do we do that with rigidity? Do we do that with by clinging with white-knuckle intensity to our preconceptions, to our limiting beliefs, to our fears, to our desires? What if good old Bodhidharma was speaking of having the courage to be vulnerable in the present moment, so vulnerable that become face to face with those limitations, and with each exhalation to physically relax and mentally release in such a way not as to shove away those limitations, but to make peace with them, to stop or at least pause our endless resistance to them or embrace of them, and just make peace with it and come to the place where eventually we let them stay as long as they wish, anthropomorphically speaking. We let them go when they seem to wish to go. We do not act like the writer or director or thespian of a play. We act like an audience member, just there for an evening's diversion. Just something to watch and listen to while sucking on a piece of hard candy. I'm spoiled. I like watching TV while eating a jumbo bean and rice bowl. So I would have trouble smuggling that into a playhouse now, wouldn't I? Before we start this morning's formal practice, let's break for 1 minute of housekeeping. Every day I live stream 4 meditation classes without advertisements, health permitting. If you find value in the advice I give, the instructions I give, the techniques I share, and my enthusiasm to answer the questions that you type in the chat window, allow me to take a moment to remind you that with your assistance, this channel could help support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you and you'd like to help out, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, simply use your smartphone's camera to capture this QR code right here. Or, if you're old school, simply click one of the donation links in the description area below the video. Or not. The choice is yours, and you're welcome either way. You're welcome to everything I create for download. There is no secret memberships. Everything is out there in the open. Let us begin with the inner preliminary practice or contemplation of both empathy and enthusiasm afforded merely by chanting the recitations of bodhicitta and refuge. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. If you've just joined, welcome aboard. Remember, if at any point you have a question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how you might apply them to your specific challenges, don't be shy. Type your question in great detail in the chat window. Now let's turn our attention to the outer preliminary practices or contemplation. There are going to be 3 sets of contemplation. The first will pertain to wisdom's dance of impermanence and interdependence. We're going to use melting as a metaphor of impermanence, the contemplation of which can help us to leapfrog over our clinging tendencies. We're also going to use absorption as a metaphor of interdependence, the contemplation of which can help us to leapfrog over our competitive tendencies. We're going to play with 4 variations of this contemplation, the first pertaining to the circumstantial. This is a chanted contemplation. So in other words, it's not an active contemplation, but a passive contemplation. Kind of like you wake up in the morning and you've got an appointment, so you jump in the shower and you let the warm water roll off your head and through osmosis, clearing the cobwebs of your mind. It's passive but effective. Let's bring that same attitude to bear. What could it look like if our lost blissful and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this form? We turn our attention now to the physical. What could it feel like if all formless footy and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this speech? We turn our attention from the physical to the interpersonal, which is expressed in terms of communication, both verbal and nonverbal. What could it sound like if all speech was footy and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into this mind? And now we switch gears from the interpersonal to the mental. Some people try to mystify the mental, but they just do that to manipulate people. It's really pretty straightforward. Our minds have evolved to perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. What could it be like if all minds blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into a vast empty void? We now are going to play with this morning's first of two meditations, Awareness and Letting Go, which is known by many names, including Great Completion Stage Tantra, which is pretty highfalutin for something as easy as this. As we breathe in, we could notice the play of mind. As silently and mentally we recite, notice this. As we exhale, we could relax into mind's non-graspable nature. As silently and mentally we recite, relaxing. After you become comfortable with these three words, if you wish, you could gaze at this blank area on the screen. You don't have to. You can gaze at whatever you want or close your eyes if that floats your boat. I recommend breathing from the diaphragm, and during each inhalation striving to sit as tall as you can, as if you wanted to make your grandmother proud. We turn our attention now to the second of 3 sets of contemplations, bringing the 4 bases of mindfulness into the path of love. This love and letting go is known by many things, such as generation or creation stage tantra. Let's begin with the rudiments of the mantra's pronunciation. Om like home, Ben like London's Big Ben's are like a cat's paw. Sot like pot, two like your, Sot like pot, toe like your foot's toe, and hung like an owl's hoot. And now the meaning of the mantra. Om I invoke the benza diamond like strength of a sato mind well trained in love and letting go. Supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. As we chant the mantra, I could feel as if time and race were emitting from a thumbnail source to horizontal 6-syllable mantra rosary at our hearts. Lavishing all minds, communication, bodies, and circumstances with wisdom, love, health, and good fortune centered and spontaneous. So, there are 2 steps required to transform mere mantra recitation into mantra meditation. The second is to physically relax as best you can while chanting the 6-syllable mantra. The first is to make use of the inhalation prior to the chanting, and to do so either by silently and mentally reciting one of wisdom's rhetorical questions, or by silently and mentally reciting a loving intention. So let us start with the latter. As we breathe in, let us lovingly wish that the heart-mind of each being now be as wise as a Buddha's mind, symbolized by a teeny tiny mustard seed-sized syllable ah. Om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung. Om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung. Om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung. Om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung. So we're just playing with wishing love. We're not actually trying to become Gandalf the Grey. Let us lovingly wish that each being's experience of the interpersonal was now as loving as a Buddha's communication, symbolized by mantra. Om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung, om benza sato hung. Om Benza Sato Hung 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 Let us lovingly wish that all bodies of all beings of all worlds, real or imagined, now enjoy the health we see depicted in tantric art as being enjoyed by an archetype of enlightenment or yadam. Om Benza Sato Hung 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 Let us lovingly wish that all circumstances were now as fortunate as the Buddha's real or imaginary paradise or pure land, or if you prefer Sanskrit, Vati. Om Benza Sato Hung 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 We now shift gears and contemplate the middle ways dance of the conventional and the ultimate. Spoiler alert. The conventional is just a fancy way of explaining or labeling the experience we have during our inhalation when we notice things. And the ultimate describes the experience we feel during our exhalation when we physically relax and mentally release. It's just that simple. And now it's time for the Easter Bunny. How weird is it that as we breathe in our circumstance, although as we breathe in, our circumstances could seem readily apparent, and yet, as we relax into the recitation of this six-syllable mantra, this exact same circumstance could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise or vati comprised only of light. Like a painting created by Maxfield Parrish. Omenzazato hung 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 omenzazato hung. Omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung. Omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung. How odd is it that as we breathe in, our bodies could feel downright sensual, and yet, as we relax into the recitation of this six-syllable mantra, our bodies could feel as if they were as non-graspable as an archetype of enlightenment or yadam, comprised only of light. Omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung. 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 How weird is it that although when we breathe in, our experience of the interpersonal could seem rather resounding, when we relax into the recitation of this six-syllable mantra, this exact same communication could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra comprised only of light. Omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung. 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 How odd is it that although as we breathe in, mind's functions could appear to us in crystal clarity, yet as we relax into the chant of the six-syllable mantra, this exact same mind could feel as if it was as non-graspable as heart-syllable ah, comprised only of light. Omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung. Omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung. Omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung omenzazato hung. Ubenza sato hung, ubenza sato hung, ubenza sato hung, ubenza sato hung. And now we come to our second and final meditation, that of bliss and letting go, which is known by many names, such as completion stage tantra. Well, that is odd, isn't it? Let's see if we can't fix this bad boy. Okay, that's much better. Oh, look, it's time for Claritin. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, kids, here's the deal. As you breathe in, you're going to feel the play of sensations whilst silently and mentally reciting feeling this. And as an extra added bonus, during each exhalation, you're going to relax into each sensation's non-graspable nature simply by silently and mentally reciting relaxing. I have no idea who that was supposed to be. Let's seal our practice with some wishing love, or love's well wishes. May I, like diamond, my master, the eightfold path as well as liberate lovers. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. I'm going to change this to may all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow from sense and spontaneity. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness, may everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. I'd like to chant the dedication prayers inspired by, well, actually taken directly from the 10th chapter of Shantideva's Bodhicharyavatara. Looks like I need to adjust this here. May all beings everywhere plagued by sufferings of body and mind receive a notion of happiness enjoyed by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by sorrow. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil receive rest and be restored. May the naked receive clothing, the hungry receive food. May the thirsty receive water and delicious streams. May the poor receive wealth, those weak with sorrow receive joy. May the hopeless receive hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all the medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid and those bound be freed. May the powerless receive power and the people long to benefit each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too auspiciously remain to effectively dispel the miseries of the world. If you feel I have earned it, please type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. In approximately 1 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's mid-morning meditation. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.